Court is calling. Court is calling 2024 CR 1048, State versus Jose Carmona. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
Bernard Campion for Mr. Carmona, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Carmona? All right, you entered a plea of guilty on August 19th. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. You applied for deferred adjudication and community supervision. According to your plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. The state is silent on your application. And this is to run concurrent with 732605. Just one moment. There it is. All right, counsel, have you had a chance to review the PSI report?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
State, did you have a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes.
Any objection? All right, the state is silent. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
We do have a witness, Your Honor, and then, of course, we'd like to call Mr. Carmona briefly, but first we'd like Gracie Castanuela.
All right, Ms. Castanuela. And you'll need to be standing over there. All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear. What I've discovered when attorneys are before me and they start asking questions, usually the witness will turn here and turn their back to the court reporter, and it makes it difficult for the court reporter. So remember not to do that. And if you'll state your name for the record.
Gracie Castanuela.
All right, can you spell that, please?
Gracie. Gracie Castanuela, Castanuela.
All right, defense.
Thank you. Ms. Castanuela, how old are you now? How old are you? And can you tell me your
All right,
relation?
let's do this because you all have already started turning your back. Just ease over that way. I can hear you because this is my good ear, and just turn towards the court reporter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could you briefly tell us your relationship with Armando Carmona, Jose Armando Carmona? And you said your
I'm
sister.
sorry, what did you say?
The sister.
If you could
Okay.
speak up just a little bit. Yeah.
You move up closer, ma'am, next to the microphone. The front.
And just fix that. In relation to your family circumstances, have you had and do you have regular contact with your brother? It's Jose Armando, but he goes by Armando, is that right? And can you briefly describe for us his circumstances involving his children, how many children he has, and their circumstances?
He has 2 children. I believe that they're 13 and 12.
So it's 3 minor children.
Yes.
Now he has 1 older daughter by a
Yeah.
prior marriage, correct?
Yeah.
And all of his, has he been active and supportive in the lives of his children?
Yes. Very.
In fact, he has done his best to try to guide them and steer them and to really help them learn from his mistakes.
Yes.
His oldest daughter, Brianna, is been accepted to nursing school at UT Health Sciences.
Yes. I believe she graduates this coming year.
So she's got 1 more year left in nursing school.
Yes.
His other 3 minor children. Well, first, the mother of those children, she is deceased, is that right?
Yes. Sir.
Do you know what type of illness or disease that caused her passing?
I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a hereditary blood disease.
So she was very young, but she's been deceased now for several years, right? And with her passing from that medical condition, has the primary responsibility for the upbringing and financial support of his children fallen on Armando?
Yes. But the kids are staying with the
I'm sorry, could you keep your voice up? And people, could you also please whisper?
So has he provided financial support to his children? And does he still?
Yes.
And without that financial support, does it create a hardship for the family?
I believe so, yes.
If you could speak.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And when I say the family, we're talking about your extended family, is that right? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one sister and I have 2 brothers.
And the other 2 siblings besides you and Armando, they have some significant disability and health issues, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
So their ability to assist in caring for not just minor children, but also elderly parents is somewhat limited, correct?
Correct.
And speaking of which, I guess your mother and Armando's mother is somewhat, not somewhat, but disabled, is that correct?
That's correct.
In a rehab center.
Correct.
And when she is not in the rehab center, does Armando provide support and care for her?
Yes, he lives.
So in fact, he was residing with her full time until she went into the rehab center, is that right? And he took care of her on a daily basis.
Correct.
And if is it hope that she would be out of rehab sometime soon?
Yes.
And is it the hope and desire of the family that Armando would be able to assist and resume care of her?
Yes.
Okay. And so we're not talking about just financial, we're talking about the actual physical care too.
Yes.
And in terms of the care, he has always maintained employment, is that right?
Yes.
And have you ever noticed any extravagant spending on himself, or
No.
is
No.
basically, other than his essential needs, everything he earns goes for the support of his children and family, is that right?
Correct.
And he's still employed at this time.
Yes. Yes.
And you're employed as well, correct?
Yes.
Where do you work?
At the Toyota.
And you have a full-time shift at Toyota.
Yes.
And I assume you have minor children as well.
I do.
So, so in Armando's absence, there's a tremendous hardship on primarily his children. Is that right?
Yes.
And as part, in terms of their upbringing and lives, have you seen Armando to be active in their lives, not just providing financial support, but on a day-to-day basis?
Yes.
Or are they all good kids?
Oh.
None have criminal records?
No. No.
And they're good students?
Yes.
Do they, does he encourage them to be enrolled in extracurriculars?
Yes. As per.
And he attends extracurricular events with them?
Well, but he can't. It's a monitor.
Right. I'll pass it.
Just, your name is Stephanie Carmel.
No, Gracie Castanuela.
I'm sorry.
Gracie Castanuela.
Okay, thank you. No questions.
All right, thank you.
You're not allowed to call Mr. Carmona.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, that nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
José Armando Carmona.
All right, defense.
Yes, okay. Mr. Carmona, as you've heard with your sister, the court reporter needs to.
Okay.
So, but without showing disrespect to the court, if you could make sure that your voice is directed in this direction. I know you speak somewhat softly.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask you first, Carmona, about your pre-trial supervision on this matter. Today is October 10th of 24, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
As part of your pretrial supervision, when you were released on bond, did they install or instruct you as condition bond that you would have a monitor, electronic monitor?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what day that was installed?
October 10th, 2023.
So today is the 1-year anniversary of having the monitor, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And in the last year that you've been on bond and on monitor, has there been even one violation of any of your pretrial conditions?
No, sir.
Okay. And we've had to come to the court many times to get permission for you to attend functions for your children, whether it was admission ceremony to college or choir concerts or sporting events. We've done all that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so, to the best of your ability, given the restrictions of your monitor, have you been active in the lives of your children?
Yes, sir.
And-
That's good.
And you have how many children?
4 total, 3 minor.
Three minors. And in terms of the 3 minors, are you providing support for them?
Yes,
Financial support?
yes.
Where are you working?
I'm working at Pioneer Flour Mills,
And you've been there for what, 3 months?
3 months now.
And prior to that, have you always maintained full employment?
Yes, sir.
And prior to that, was Zachary Construction?
Yes, sir.
And of course, when you had to go to different job sites, there was issues with the monitor and approval, correct?
Yes, sir. At times it was.
So the current job with Pioneer, you are allowed to stay in one spot.
Yes, sir.
So it's worked out well.
Yes.
And have you been notified that if you were provided some means by which you could remain out of custody, that not only is your job secure, but that you were in line for a promotion?
Yes, sir.
And what did they tell you would be making?
$21.50 an hour.
And where does that money go?
To my family, my children, some to myself, of course, but mainly to my children.
Other than your immediate essential needs, or just the essentials of life, do you basically provide the entirety of the support for your children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they're not going to just disintegrate in your absence, but it's certainly going to be a hardship on not just your family, but primarily your children,
Yes,
if you're not working.
yes, sir.
Let me ask you about your circumstances in that regard. Your wife, the mother of the children, Stephanie, from one of those diagnosed with a serious blood illness.
Oh. HHT.
Okay, and if she passed away.
Yes, sir.
And do you know whether any of your children have been diagnosed with that disease?
All 3 of them have it.
So they're doing well physically now, but there's
No.
medical issues that have to be dealt with as well.
Yes. Well, my 12-year-old is
And in fact, has your daughter already had surgery or more? 1 or
3
2
of them.
3 surgeries?
Yes.
Okay. So they are the focus of your life, is that right?
Yes, sir.
In addition to your children, have you and would you continue to provide care for your elderly mother?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And in fact, you lived with her until she went into the rehab.
Yes, sir.
If she gets out of rehab, she would be living with you, is
Yes.
that right? And you'd be basically responsible for her day-to-day care.
Yes, sir.
Your work schedule is such that you put in a full day, but the shifts kind of vary, so you would have time to do that.
Yes, sir.
And your children that you have basically tried to raise as best you can, they're all doing well, is that right?
Yes, sir.
They're all productive. Positive.
All of them. Yes, sir.
None of them have criminal records.
No.
You've tried to teach them from your mistakes.
Yes, sir.
And have you encouraged them into extracurricular activities?
Yes, my 2 middle ones have it. They're middle school.
Is your daughter in choir,
Yes, and volleyball also.
volleyball, and your son's in basketball, football?
Right now he's in football.
And not only do you encourage them in a positive direction, you support them in terms of attending events and providing assistance in terms of the financial needs to participate in those activities.
Yes, sir.
No question, you've made a lot of mistakes in your life.
Yes, sir.
Is there any question in your mind that if given the opportunity, you could adhere to any terms and conditions that this court might set for supervision?
I know I could.
And for the last year plus, there's not been one dirty UA, correct?
And the violation.
And they've tested you at work as well.
Yes, sir.
And So you are completely sober and drug free,
Yes, sir.
and no question in your mind you can remain that way.
Yes, sir.
And even the strictest of conditions, you will abide by.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass it.
Any questions? All right, I have a few. So the marijuana that was in your car, you said that you had loaned your vehicle to someone else?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was that?
A friend of mine, and David,
David what?
and Tele.
All right, and then this person you bought the weapon from, who was that?
I don't know personally, a friend.
Well, no, it says here you bought the gun from a man that said he was associated with the military. So who is this friend who gave you information for this person?
I used to work with him downtown. That's what I got introduced to this band like him.
So who is he?
The
What's
man
his
that-
name?
that's what-
No, the friend.
You know what I talk with? No, Ryan.
Hmm?
The name of Ryan.
Ryan what?
I'm not sure I know his last name.
But this is your friend.
Well, not, it was just an acquaintance from work. I used to work at the Riverwalk downtown.
So let me just tell you what my problem is with your application.
Yes, ma'am.
You're habitual, that was waived. One of your cases that was waived, and it's in the PSI, is assault family with previous conviction. Who is the complainant in that case?
I'm not sure what case this is. No, it's the. No.
No,
Oh, it's my wife, my deceased wife.
All right. And then you have an assault bodily injury from 1997. And then you had an assault bodily injury from 1999. And then you have an assault bodily injury married from 2013. And I'm assuming that's the wife who's deceased.
Yes.
Then you had a possession case that was reduced and you were placed on probation and it was revoked because you didn't successfully complete it. Then, and that was in 2006. Then 2013, you had another possession case. You were given deferred adjudication for. You didn't successfully complete it. You were revoked. And then you had an assault family second offense. And I'm assuming that's against the your deceased wife as well. And you were given probation for that and you were revoked and you didn't successfully complete it. And the ag assault with a deadly weapon, that was dismissed for missing witness. I'm not even going to consider that. And then now we have the felon in possession of a weapon. And what you state in your version of events, and if they put it down incorrectly, let me know. You state, the defendant states he was aware he was not to have a gun, but wanted one as his son-in-law had bought one. Is that the case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else?
maybe just a brief argument about this.
Yes.
Judge, as you pointed out, very thoroughly, you've got every reason in the world to deny his application. His record speaks for itself, and it is what it is. But despite the fact, oh, I'm sorry. There's no question about that. But as you've also noted, most of those circumstances are some of them are way in the past. Some of them are somewhat remotely in the past. But what I think, and there's no question that 15 years ago or so, he had a serious drug problem that caused a lot of issues in his life. He has addressed that in meaningful ways. He did go to treatment. And over time, I think it took effect, and he has been clean and sober now for a number of years. I think that addresses many of the historical issues that present themselves in his case. The fact that he has been on such strict bond conditions for a full calendar year, and it started off with complete lockdown. We were able to finally get that transitioned to partial so that he could resume work. And he, in essence, has proven himself. I think that a year of what he has been through without a single violation, I am hard pressed to think of a man in his circumstances that has performed as well on pretrial supervision as he has. So, and it hasn't been for just a week or a month. It's been for a full calendar year. So I think the track record he has established since his arrest on this case has established that he's capable and willing to not just comply, but satisfy each and every term of condition the court might impose, no matter how strict. The question is, does his record allow him the opportunity to do that? That's what we're imploring the court to kind of look at the big picture. And when you factor in the circumstances, the family circumstances that are created, and with his absence, the hardship that it creates on the children, and the fact that he has proven himself so much for the last year, we're just imploring that the court consider some form or fashion of conditions, a combination of conditions that would satisfy all concerned. Certainly, on paper, he doesn't deserve another chance. Given his performance over the last year and how he's proven himself, we're imploring the court to consider some combination of conditions, as strict as they might be, that would allow him the opportunity to continue to prove himself.
All right, thank you. All right, I want you to know that I would listen to your attorney's argument. I've listened to the witnesses that have been called, and I always internalize everything that's told to me. And I always reread the stipulations and make sure that I read the TAP evaluation. Here's the court's issue. The issue is that according to your versions of event, you knew you're not supposed to have a weapon. It's the law. You're not supposed to have a weapon. If people don't like that as a law, they need to change it. And according to your version of events, you wanted a weapon because your son-in-law had one. And then you went through back channels because you knew, according to your versions of events, that no one would sell you one. And it's not as though you're a teenager and you're not considering or internalizing the consequences of your action. That's a problem for the court. I don't think that you're a good candidate for probation. I'm going to find you guilty. This we're going to write concurrent with 732605. I'll give you credit for any time served. There's $1,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. I do acknowledge the fact that you've done great on GPS and you've done everything well. Your punishment is set at a cap of 8 years. And based upon how you've been since you've been on GPS, I'm going to sentence him to the 3 years.
Thank you.
Right. All right, because this is a felony conviction. You're not allowed to own weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what that is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. With your history, I know sometimes people will say, oh, it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. With your history, you're going to have to ask for permission every time. And you know you're not allowed to have weapons, so you can't have weapon. And then, as you know, when they arrested you, they saw that you had a warrant. And that was for another incident that was dismissed because of a missing witness. And your attorney will talk to you about that, about statute of limitations and all that entails. All right. I wish you nothing but the best. I know that being locked up, that's a lot of time. Anytime, a day at the prison, a day at the Bexar County Jail is a lot of time because you don't have your freedom. But at the end of the day, you can still get out and do better. And your children will be still waiting for you. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. Good luck to you. And thank you. I remember you. I know you always dressed appropriately for court, and I want you to know I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.